Hello, welcome to my new video. My name is Haley and I'm the soul purpose and inner transformation coach over at haleynoah.com. And in this video I will be talking about the question, do you leave the job where you got burned out? So, you got burned out. At some point your job asked too much of you and you just didn't have it in you anymore to do it. And now you are facing the fact that you're not yourself anymore. You want to be your old self so much, but at this moment you're just not. And you try to relax in every way that you know possible so that you can become calm and peaceful again. But man, this is so incredibly hard because you cannot even remember the last time that you were actually really relaxed. So how on earth are you now going to do this with this burnout? And then there's also one other thing, work. You try to scrape yourself together as good as you can, but then there's also your employer that starts to stalk you. When will you be back to work? How long is this burnout going to take? We really need to get you back to work as soon as possible, they say. And at this point, you don't want to go back to work. You want peace. But hey, they pay for the roof over your head and there are all these laws that are telling you that you should cooperate. So what you gonna do? You peel yourself off of your couch and you start going back into work for 2 or 3 hours a day. And before you know it, your employer wants to increase your hours because really, this burnout has taken up too much of their time. So now you don't only have to battle yourself, but also your employer. With as a result that you feel even more stressed, sad, and super lost. Girlfriend, let me tell you, if you recognize this, you really should be asking yourself if it's a smart idea to stay in that job where you got burned out. And I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert here. It's not. I know what it's like to be burned out. I have been on both sides. When I was still working as a legal employment law expert, I saw a lot of cases where employees were burned out and they had to deal with their employers at the same time. And I also was that burned out employee that was in that exact same situation. And now let me tell you, in both cases, it went the exact same way. The employer's main priority was to get the employee back to work ASAP, no matter what. With as a result, an unhappy, even more stressed employee for whom it was made so much more difficult to get better. There are always exceptions. It is not to say that all employers will force you to go back to work no matter what. But from what I have seen, experienced, and still hear, most employers aren't as empathetic. Why? Because their main priority is to get the employee back to work as soon as possible. Because every day that you are not working, you are costing them money that you will never ever be able to make up. Also, the longer your burnout takes, the more money you waste. But as a burned out employee, your main priority is time. You need that time to get better, to become peaceful again, to find yourself. And often enough, that is not the time that your employer wants to give you. So you and your employer have different priorities. Money versus time. And that is where the battle begins, because they're two different. For me, this went the exact same way. I got burned out due to childhood traumas and stress in the workplace. I had a tough employer who was really rough, who would make me feel super small every day, just as I did when I was a child. On top of that, there was also a lot of stress in the workplace. And one day I cracked. I couldn't take it anymore. When this first happened, my employer was somewhat empathetic because there were childhood traumas involved. But the willingness to be understanding started to decrease the longer my burnout took. Although I still wasn't really doing better, they started to increase my working hours in a pace that was too much for me, causing me to relapse and setting me back big time. My employer's response to that setback? They gave me 2 more months to fully recover. After that, my burnout should be over. They had given me enough time to recover. If it only was that simple. That is, of course, not how burnouts work. And when that happened, I knew that I had to get out of there. And I did. Although my burnout wasn't over, I started applying for new jobs. I figured that it would be better to spend my time and my energy trying to recover at a new employer than using that time and that energy battling an employer where I had no future anyways. So I applied and I got hired on my first try. Let me tell you, this was super scary because yes, I was still burned out, and no, my new employer did not know that. But for me, this was really the best choice that I could have made in that time. And it worked. The new environment gave me the energy that I needed to recover. And after 3 months, I finally felt like myself again. And from that point, I could start to think about what my future would be. If you are burned out and you are struggling at the moment, the choice is really up to you. Do you stay or do you go? Life is not supposed to be a struggle. Work is not supposed to be a struggle. You don't have to stay in that place where you got sick only because at this moment they're giving you a paycheck. You cannot live a purpose-driven life if you are burned out. You cannot use your potential, your talents and your abilities in a place where you are being stifled. You cannot be the best and most meaningful version of you in a toxic environment. You are the owner of your life. And you know this. You know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So what do? Do you choose for the light? Or do you choose to stay in the familiarities of the darkness? Maybe you are watching this and you're like, yes, I'm gonna choose the light. But you have no idea how to start. You don't know what's next. Maybe I have something that can help you. On my website, haleynoah.com, you can find a free Uncover Your Soul Purpose worksheet. And in this worksheet, you will find 10 questions that will help you to start uncovering your soul purpose. I will be linking to the worksheet in the comments, so feel free to check it out and download it. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that it gave you the insight and the inspiration and the courage that you need to move on. As always, if there's anything that you would like to ask, don't be shy. That is what I'm here for. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye!